Welcome back, everyone. You're watching America's Voice Live. It's right around lunchtime or early afternoon for most of you, about 15 minutes until the top of the hour. Tucker Carlson is using social media to continue his legacy after leaving Fox News. Here's his latest announcement.
Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
Carlson says Twitter is the last free speech platform, or the last platform for free speech. Plus, he intends on using it to his advantage in order to push back against other legacy media outlets on that site. Joining us live now to discuss how this impacts the future of media and social media is tech analyst for Young Voices, James Czerniawski. I got it right. I'm so proud of myself. James, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So let's start here. And we talked about this a little bit in the break. Your thoughts on Tucker taking his talents, if you will, to Twitter?
Yeah, I think that this is an exciting opportunity for Tucker. I mean, he's been used to working for Fox for a number of years now. And while they made the decision that they made, this actually is a great example of how, while normally traditional media companies would have a lot of power when they fired an anchor from their ability to have the ability to speak freely, now Tucker has this new opportunity with new media, also known as social media, to go and continue that message that he was doing on Fox now to a much wider audience than he otherwise previously had. So I think that there's actually a really good opportunity here for Tucker, and it's really encouraging to see him take the show on the road to Twitter.
While it's a great opportunity for Tucker, as you spoke to, new media, is this even bigger for new media in terms of potentially creating a new platform or a broader platform for social media / new media?
Yeah, I think that it just kind of builds upon the work that has been steadily growing over the past, 20 some odd years as the internet's kind of taken into shape, right? I think one of the best promises of the internet was that it was able to serve as a platform and a conduit to bring different ideas to the table. You don't get Ben Shapiro being as prominent as he is, or any of those Daily Wire hosts, or Joe Rogan, or the Young Turks. Like, you don't get any of those viewpoints without the internet. So I think that really Tucker now going and entering this fold is just the latest development and showing this evolution of chipping away at the power that these traditional media companies have had. And that's really promising. That's really, really powerful stuff.
Elon Musk said early on in his tenure that he wanted to make Twitter kind of this digital town square. Is this probably the biggest step in realizing that?
I think it's certainly a good way of him trying to signal with Tucker coming to Twitter that he wants it to be a platform where people from all kinds of viewpoints can go and express themselves more freely. We'll see how that holds up against scrutiny, as Tucker is certainly an animating personality, if you will, to say the least. I think that, it'll remain to be seen. But I think that, Elon is certainly happy that a major personality like Tucker is going to be leveraging the platform that Twitter has to go and bring his message out there. Whether people like it or not, that's up to them. But it's a really, really positive development for that particular social media platform, undoubtedly.
So just out of curiosity, obviously Tucker will be a huge draw. Do you see Elon Musk bringing on someone that will be kind of a counterbalance to a Tucker Carlson, someone maybe from the other side who will have a similar show?
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, it's not like Elon recruited Tucker to come to Twitter. That was something that Tucker made of his own volition there. But I think if people see that Tucker is able to leverage Twitter and actually become very successful doing it, it would become a primary competitor against other, influencer style programs that we've seen traditionally on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and really be able to drive other major thinkers that are across the political spectrum to wanting to use Twitter to get their message out there to a broader audience. So yes, I think it can serve as a bouncing point, but this is Tucker's experiment, and it's not the final form of what his new adventure post Fox will look like. So it's something that we'll have to keep on monitoring, but very exciting if you're a content creator to see how this ultimately transpires for Tucker Carlson.
If Tucker is as successful as most people think he's going to be, what impact do you think it's going to have on legacy media? How much pressure will it put on legacy media?
Yeah, I think that that's the key detail there, right? If Tucker Carlson is successful. And I think that if he is, it will certainly put some degree of pressure on traditional media companies to change perhaps the way that they're approaching these conversations with their respective, hosts that are on their various programs. I think that, It's something that they can definitely be forced to have to reckon with. And, again, it's all contingent upon Tucker becoming successful and bringing a successful kind of program to Twitter that he can monetize for himself and be successful at doing it. Legacy media has certainly been in need of a shot in the arm, if you will, to innovate, to kind of meet the moment that the new era of the 21st century demands. So I think that this could actually serve as a great way, an inflection point, if you will, for them to try to make some changes and be more receptive to heterodox opinions and having a more open platform even within their own gates.
Because this new platform, Twitter in this particular case for Tucker, is an online platform, it's technology, do you expect him to have the size of audience that he once had at Fox? And I asked that question under the context that people were thinking, oh, well, some of the older viewers who might not be as savvy with Twitter may not be able to go, and so he'll lose some audience. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's an absolutely fair point to make. Certainly, Fox's crowd had his demographics that he had at that 8 p.m. slot. And I would say that, if anything, it's going to be a representation of a different kind of audience that he can tap into, where you have the old viewers, let's say, that might have necessarily been associated with the Fox viewership at that hour on Twitter and the internet. The nice thing is that, especially because it's a little bit more of a permanent nature of content, you can actually get a whole wider range of viewers to go and listen to your show that are in the younger age demographics, which are increasingly very online and digitally native and savvy. So I think that there's definitely a situation here that is in play where he can certainly retain a portion of that older audience that he had while he was at Fox, while also simultaneously potentially drawing in new and younger crowds to go and listen to his content and the things that he has to say on this new platform in Twitter for him.
And does Tucker potentially risk losing the perception of legitimacy because he's on an online platform like a Twitter and not with a network?
No, I don't think so whatsoever. I mean, I don't think that you would say that to Ben Shapiro, who's one of the most prominent, people in conservative circles when it comes to being an influential person, right? I think that his entire, legitimacy is actually based on the fact that he's this online personality. He did it without relying on traditional media. It's just one of many mediums that you can go and establish yourself. Tucker already has the creds because he served in traditional media for the last 30 years. I don't think that simply disappears because he's taking it to Twitter instead of having it on a traditional cable news program.
James Czerniawski dropping the science for us this morning. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for your perspective.
Thanks for having me.
All right. After the break, we're going to have your answers to our America's Voice question of the day. There it is on your screen. Title 42 is gone. What do you think will happen to our border? Can't wait to hear what you have to say.